Hi, this is Nate House with Craft House Media, and I'm here with Jenny Yazdi, Esquire,
Yes,
and you have a transformation story.
I do. So I am,
Good. Transition.
I'm an attorney, and I started practicing at a law firm in San Francisco in 2015. And so I was a brand new attorney,
Okay.
and just getting the lay of the land, getting experience. You kind of take whatever job you can get. And I thought I had a great job. I was really excited, and I was working really hard. And I was there for 3 years, and it was a really small firm. So there was only 4 partners, all males, and there was 2 associates, 2 females, myself being one of them. And at some point when I was there, they hired a male attorney who was fresh out of law school. So I was at that point 3 years out of law school, and he was fresh out of law school. And long story short, he didn't last very long. He made it there for a year and he left. And actually, he was asked to leave. And after he left, I found out that they were paying him more than they were paying me and the other female associate, both of which have extensive experience over him and quality of work. So it kind of inspired me to learn about the law, because in California and nationally, there are Equal Pay Act laws, which basically say that you can't pay someone of the opposite gender for the substantially similar work more.
Okay.
And I did a lot of research. I learned the inside and outs of it, and was really upset because obviously I'd been working really hard and did better work than this guy, as did the other associate, and was being treated unfairly. So I raised it with the firm, and they were really upset. And they made it almost unbearable for me to, actually they made it unbearable for me to be there. Started questioning how I figured it out, and made every single day being there so miserable. I had already decided I was gonna leave, so I had one foot out, but it didn't make the experience of going to work every day less unbearable.
Right.
So I left after a couple of months of enduring that.
Yeah.
But now I'm working to bring justice
Yeah.
to them by pursuing legal remedies against them.
Has this been the only instance where gender has shown up in your work?
It comes up every single day.
Okay.
Being a younger female attorney, you face adversity every single day. No, the majority of people in the profession are older white men.
Okay.
And they dismiss you, they use their power of experience over you, and it manifests in very different ways. Everything from really nasty emails to trying to pull fast ones over you, mostly prying on your inexperience, sometimes in a physical way, like when you're in person with them because you might be smaller as a woman, or just dismissing you like you're not actually an attorney, treating you like a paralegal, a court reporter. In one instance, my first day of trial, I walked into the courtroom with the big, thing of boxes of files, and it was a really contentious case. It was like 5 years of litigation leading up to trial. And so there was a lot of tension on both sides. Our client was there, and it was a big bank that was being sued. We represented the bank. And when I walked into the courtroom, the other attorney looked at me. He was an older white male, and he's like, "Oh, hey, look, it's a little girl attorney."
Wow.
So I heard
A
it.
little girl attorney.
And yes, I'm little, and yes, I'm a girl, and yes, I'm an attorney. So I mean, it was all factually true, but just his tone of voice was so degrading, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, they treated me like crap the entire time of the trial. They would yank papers out of my hand. They would ignore when I would talk, and I'd have to keep repeating, "I'm counsel of record. I'm counsel of record." Like, I am the second chair of this trial. It's,
Yeah.
it's not a small deal. And So it was very upsetting, and it was all designed to intimidate, to scare off, to frustrate the other side as an advantage for their client. I mean, this is the type of lawyering that, like, literally the guy would click the clicker on his pen whenever I was talking, just to irritate me so that I would get distracted when I was talking. So much so that it irritated the judge, and the judge asked him to stop. So when we won the trial, I printed out the order on pink paper, and I put a little Post-it note on it, and I said, I thought you might like a courtesy copy of the order, even though he definitely saw it. And I signed it LittleGirlAttorney.
Oh man.
And it was very shocking for my colleagues and my friends that I did that, because the legal profession is like super prim and proper and black and white, and to even the idea of sending someone something on a different color paper was just like, oh my God, how could you do that? But it was kind of like, you know, my response was always like, well, what was he gonna do? Like, tell the judge? I would love for him to have told the judge, so that the judge could say, well, why would she do that? You know?
Yeah.
What prompted that?
Right. Right, this didn't just happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like civil disobedience.
I like it. I like it. And it sends a message, it's not...
Oh yeah. The message is like, first of all, don't mess with me. And second of all, like, you can't talk to people that way.
Wow.
It's not okay. And I think my biggest lesson from this is that when I talk to women in the profession about what do I do in these kind of instances, this was kind of like pre-metoo movement, the advice was just, you know, you're in the shoes of your client, just suck it up, just like, you don't let it phase you, be strong. That was the advice, and I was so dissatisfied with that, because I was like, why should we tolerate this kind of behavior? Because yes, it's important to be strong. Yes, your clients are more important. Yes to all those things. But why are we letting them get away with this on a daily basis?
Yeah.
And so my whole point with doing that was that, no, you own it, that you're a girl and you're an attorney, you're little. And you show them that that kind of behavior is not going to go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how I feel about what happened with my firm, is that so often, myself included, you feel intimidated by pursuing justice. And I think with the rise of Me Too and with all that, it's helping, but I still think women are very scared to stand up for themselves. And I didn't offend him, I didn't hurt him, I didn't do anything to hurt my clients. I just said, no, you cannot talk to me that way.
Right.
Just with a piece of pink paper.
Right. That's powerful. That's really powerful. So if you had advice for someone who is young, who's contemplating their future, and what would you tell them?
So, I mean, I have so much advice for young women specifically. But when you think about navigating through, especially women who are charting uncharted territory, who are trying to reach new heights and succeed in the world, it's not so much about acting like men. I don't think that's the way to do it, but I think like really standing up for yourself in a professional and loving and kind way is actually quite profound, and you find that it disarms people. And I think me sending this pink letter to him completely disarmed him, because I never heard from him again. He never sent me a nasty email again.
Right.
And it's that kind of stuff that I think also empowers you to not be hurt by someone treating you like you're lesser, because it's that kind of stuff that slows you down in your career.
Wow.
If you internalize all these times that people treat you like you're lesser without you realizing it, you start to think that you are. And so having these, in my opinion, having these little moments of resistance in a kind way, not a combative way. I don't think we should fight.
Right.
It empowers you to keep pushing forward and not letting these things tear you down.
Wow. No, it's solid advice. It's solid advice. Has there ever been anything in your personal life that you've had to overcome
Yeah.
that you'd like to share? You don't have to. This is a great interview in itself. I just know there's more.
I have actually overcome a lot of personal adversity. I guess I won't go into so much detail.
Sure.
But at some point I had an eye surgery that went wrong.
Okay.
And I was within a 1% of people that came out with double vision.
Oh my gosh.
And I was in the middle of college. And
But
so,
lawyers don't have to read very much.
no, not at all. Just a couple thousand pages a day.
Twice. Just have to read it twice.
Exactly. But that was probably physically one of the hardest things I've ever had to overcome, and it turned out to actually be mental, because it's like the way your brain processes images is what I had to undo by like really focusing on not seeing it.
Oh my gosh.
So that was probably what taught me.
So okay, so you're saying I focused on getting well. What did you do to focus on getting well?
So one of the first things I did was, the whole experience of the surgery was quite traumatic and it was quite upsetting, and it was in between, like it was winter break, I was supposed to go back to school and they advised me not to, and all this stuff, life-changing, and I sort of resisted all of that advice medically, and I went back to school and made some changes to what classes I was taking, but for the most part really tried to stay as normal as possible. And then I told everyone around me to not ask me how I'm doing at all. And so the reason for that was because I really wanted to not be reminded of the thing that I was trying to overcome, and focusing on, moving forward, growing, healing, getting stronger. And when my focus was directed just to that, eventually I overcame it.
Wow. I think it's so inspiring when you can hear that people have had troubles and they were able to get well, or they were able to manage it and still accomplish.
Yeah, and it's not gone, by the way.
Okay.
It's still there. It's just so not there that I live almost completely normally with it.
Yeah. So is there a stress management piece that you have to manage stress?
Yeah.
Or it's...
Yeah, I mean, when I'm very stressed or very tired or very overwhelmed, it does come in much more prevalently.
Okay.
But it's, I would say 99.9% of the time,
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because I put in a lot of work that first year.
I see.
To overcome it.
I think sometimes people think that getting well would just happen if they wish it to, but you made the effort. You felt so you're a very driven person to achieve goals.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking a moment to share this with us.
Sure.
And I think every time we hear a message that allows us to see someone getting well, someone is able to accomplish goals, it inspires us to accomplish our own goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to hearing about more pink paper being passed out wherever it needs to go.
Follow LittleGirlAttorney on Instagram.
Okay. I'd love to.
More to come.
Okay. So if we put the Instagram link,
yeah.
LittleGirlAttorney.
Yep.
What kind of things do you write about?
So I write about my experiences and how I deal with them.
Okay.
And eventually I hope that it becomes a place where other women and people, anyone, could share their own experiences and feel that they could also do something about the scenarios that they're in.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's just great. All right, well, I know where to find you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.